Hello and welcome to another edition of the SportsHeads. You have joined the Hurry Up NBA special. We are so excited about this one. We've been waiting for the NBA to come back for a long time. Obviously, we're a show that covers all American sports, so we'll get into that. I'm joined by my friends, my pals, my amigos, Daniel Falui, Sam Morgan, and Chris Braithwaite. How are you guys?
Doing well, Dre. Doing well.
Doing well. Good. Oh,
good. Yeah, he's you wouldn't know it, but Chris is obviously still in the sun in Miami, but he's actually been stuck indoors because they're all not allowed to go out again. So we have one of the long-term special guests of the show, one of the original crew, Nick Jeltner. How are you?
Good, Andre. Good to see you. How's things?
I'm good. Well, we've got some sun here, but
I'm out in. I traded London for Arizona, so yeah, I got the hot all day long every day, so I can't complain. It's a good place to quarantine.
I'll tell you what. That sun is shining real bright, almost as bright as Daniel's lovely smile.
You need to stop, mate. You need to stop.
We all want to get to the bottom of
mate, it's
Daniel's
just the light.
smile.
It's just the way the window and the light is reflecting onto the teeth. You need to just relax, mate.
We suspect he's quarantining after going to Turkey, but
mate, I didn't go to Turkey.
Istanbul special.
Let's get baback into that.
It's jealousy, guys.
Later.
Jealousy.
So before we get started, thanks to the NBA, we've got a little preview that we want to share with you guys about what you're going to be looking forward to on the new NBA Saturdays. Let's have a look.
Leonard, an aggressive drive. Oh my! And what about that block? George with the handle, the scoop, and the score. Hesitation, step back, triple, unreal.
Cool. I'm hyped already just from seeing that video. I don't know about you guys. I'm ready to go. But before we get started, we've got a funny situation with Louis Williams, who obviously got special permission to be able to go for a family matter, to be able to go out of the bubble and then to come back. You're supposed to come back in the bubble, not going anywhere else, but he decided to make a detour to go and see Cinnamon or Diamond and Pearl or whoever in a gentleman's establishment. Here, his rep got blown up by who's the rapper? Anyway, there's a rapper who basically blew him up by putting it on social media. He denied that he was actually there. Said it was an old picture. Clearly it wasn't because you had the mask on. Blown up completely. Chris, this is everyone's calling for his head, saying he's being selfish. Now I'm going to come to you for being our resident frequent visitor of these establishments. How
celebrity DJ and I frequent Atlanta, and I've been to Magic City 1 or 2 times.
Whatever we need to tell our wives is not a problem. So is there a big deal or no deal?
Is it a big deal or no big deal? I think it depends on how you look at it. If you're looking at it from the NBA standpoint and you're looking at it from a responsible standpoint, big deal. Everyone's looking at the NBA as an establishment that's supposed to get this bubble under wraps from all the leagues. I mean, everyone's looking at them, and then these things are sore eye on the NBA, like leaving because we permitted you to go to see your family, kind of like what they did with Zion, but you went ahead and broke the rules. Now, I would say this now. If you are going to break the rules, might as well go all out. Let me tell you, Cinnamon, Diamond is there, but lemon pepper wings, I'm telling you, at Magic City, on top of the chart. The most underrated rings, because they really can't rate them, if you know what I mean. But Lou Williams being there on a detour, probably back to the bubble. I know one thing he wishes is that Jack Harlow did not snitch on him. I don't think he feels sorry because those wings and the entertainment is prime, especially if you missed it for about 3 months in quarantine. So I understand why he had to take a little detour. NBA spoilage, these NBA players get whatever they want. But Jack Harlow, I blame him more than anything. But yes, I do believe Lou Williams. On a serious note, Lou Williams should be more serious. The NBA is the entity that everyone's looking at, and he kind of soured that a little bit.
So do you feel that there's been an overreaction? Just quickly,
I think, well, in the culture that we're in today, cancel culture, you're not listening. Thing is so big, and we also have nothing to do. We're on quarantine. That it is a big story, or is a story of the day. But once he gets back in, he balls out. Lou Williams does what he does. We'll probably give him a nickname, but we'll move on.
Sam, what's your view on this?
I don't think it's been blown up enough, to be honest. I think they've been put in a bubble for a reason. I think they've been put in a bubble for health reasons. There's people there that in other sports, obviously, dropping out and opting out for those reasons. And now they've put themselves in Disneyland to gone to the extremes. And he's taken advantage of something that not everyone's had the opportunity to do. And that is actually going to see a loved one during these times. And he's gone and done that. I still don't quite get, even if he has, after doing that, if he was hungry, I don't care how good the wings are, why a strip club? There's so many other great food places. I never understood it. But I would say if he was, that's what he actually went in for. I think it's a lie. And as I said, it's not the wings he went in for. It's probably some fires. That's probably actually what he went for. Some 2 juicy fires.
But apparently it's his favourite establishment. So he actually legitimately, apparently, is supposed to be his favourite establishment to eat at, and the food is supposed to be really well renowned. Shannon Sharp and other players have actually said, you know what, like legit, the food is that good. But so do you feel that like he's maybe he's getting a bit of a raw deal?
I mean, he's a multi-millionaire. Like, you can go and get these wings another time. Like, it's not going anywhere. And even if it was going to go out of business, drop the bank checks and get them going again. But he probably went in there with a few ones to pay off those wings. But I don't think anything is wrong with being hard done by, should we say?
Dan, You are yet to be able to visit some of these establishments in the States as yet, but being a novice, what's your take on this?
See, I think it's on a good day, would you criticize him for what he did? No. And I think the actual action itself, I'm careful not to criticize him too much, but also at the same time, you're a professional athlete, you have a responsibility as a professional to be a professional. If the situation warrants that you need to be in a bubble, stay in a bubble and be committed to that. So I think it just speaks volume of his professionalism rather than the actual individual. I don't think, people are complaining itself that it's a strip club. I just think it's the fact that it was a strip club while COVID, while you're in a bubble. And I think those elements combined is what has led to sort of the criticism or sort of outcry. I think personally for me, I think it speaks bigger volumes for the Clippers, because it just seems not just him, they've got other players on the team. They don't really seem that they're taking it really seriously. They don't seem too committed. So I'm a bit worried about them as a team or how far they will go, because when you're not taking it seriously, it just speaks volumes of the culture of the team, and hopefully they rally it around. But people need to start taking this seriously. It's not going anywhere, so the sooner you start to take it a bit more seriously, the better. And you just don't want to put people in that situation in the NBA in a bubble. If it doesn't go well, you don't get paid. So I don't understand how guys don't really get that correlation with that. And if you don't want to do it, opt out. Like, no one's forcing you to play.
This is spoken by a man who is yet to visit some of these establishments. But when we show him around Miami, we're going to see if he's going to be like, oh my God, Lou Williams, I'm sorry, I apologize.
Mate, I'm still good. I take the sports over everything else first, mate.
Nick's has got his notepad. He's ready to go. So Nick, what's your you're going to make your reservations already? Your orders already. So let's Nick, what do you think?
I don't know. I'm kind of torn on this one, because I take it all in merit. And Lou Williams, is a class professional, has been for 15 years. He even had a came out with the tweet saying after 15 years, the only kind of dirt you have on me is I went to, pick up wings. So, but they are in a bubble, and the whole world is watching. And the NBA has gone to great lengths to make everyone safe. And, you got to you can't stand 6 feet of everyone, blah, blah, blah. But he did get permission to leave. And I think once you're allowed to leave, they can't tell him where he can and can't go to, get food. Had he gone into a grocery store and got a picture taken, that's just as, dangerous as a strip club, I think. So, I don't know. If he wants the wings, get the wings. But I've been to Atlanta, and the barbecue's amazing. So I want to check out this place. If the wings are that good, get onto something.
So, if anything, I think that Lou Williams has actually put more of a highlight on some of these establishments, especially that one in particular. So I think there's going to be a long list of people. What's the take in it over there? Obviously, because it's so wild over there. Obviously, with the COVID, 19 situation. So what's your take in Arizona?
Well, yeah, Arizona is one of the hot spots. I mean, out here, I think it is. It's because the world we live in now. Anything's a big news, and we don't have sports, so that was the big sports topic of the day. Lou Williams stopping for food. Mm-hmm. So I don't know. I totally get why people are against it, and you got to stay in. You got to be careful. Everyone's watching you, but I just think at the same time he did get permission to leave, and I just don't think you can say you can and can't go to these certain places.
See, Nick is standing up for the rights of all gentlemen establishment goers.
There you go. They got bills to pay.
He's helping the economy, as some people are saying. That's. Let's go on to baseball now. Obviously, things have been going fairly well. With some of the games, obviously, we've been really, really enjoying it over here. But during the Marlins and the Nationals game, it had to be cancelled, postponed, because there's been a few cases of COVID-19 in the Marlins in the Marlins camp. Since then, obviously, they had to cancel another Yankees game as well, just to make sure. But genuinely, some people are on side of, should be cancelled, forget about the season, or maybe they should try to make it into a tournament, making it with a bubble. Nick, I'm going to come back to you. What was your view on the whole, incident with baseball at the moment?
Well, this one I think is a mess. I just don't see how they're going to finish the whole season. Go back to the NBA, these guys are doing it the right way. They were saying it's probably the safest place on earth right now with the COVID.
Right.
All the they got. So without having a bubble and guys traveling, I think it was inevitable to happen. But it's only been a week, and now we've got, as you said, so you got not only the Yankees, Nationals, Phillies, Orioles, and the Marlins have all been affected by this. So, and the baseball they wanted to do 60 games in 66 days. Which doesn't leave much room for, wiggle room here. And, they're already going to lose 5 days out of it for one team. So, I don't know. I just think it's a mess. And say this happened to the Yankees or something. If it was a bigger team, bigger players, I think it would have been paused already. So, I don't know. I think all the eyes of the world, they want to get it played. But at some point, safety comes first.
Do you feel that as you just alluded to, if that had been the Yankees, would they take it a bit more seriously?
I think so. I think they would have been, I do actually. I think they would have taken, 3 or 4 days.
Sam, what's your take?
I think it's a mess as well. I think we've seen a few mistakes along the way in a few different organisations where they've not shut things down and tried to force the issue, and it's obviously just made things worse. I think we can go over this the whole COVID situation on a broader scale away from sport. And there's been some mistakes that have cost probably people's lives and obviously other little things going on here. And I think this is no joke now. And I think America needs to stand up, and especially the MLB. This is an ideal opportunity to say, you know what, it's not going to work, especially when you're trying to put in, as Nick said there, 60 games in 66 days or something. That's insane. Don't risk it. And if it was the Yankees, I think everyone would have heard about it. It's just that name, and it would have blown up even more. So for me, I think it shouldn't continue. Don't put people at risk. It's and everyone moving around so much. I don't think you can continue it.
So your take is that you should actually just cancel the whole season.
Well, unless you're going to extend it. But as we've seen with other organisations, to extend it just, slows down the start of the next one. And that's when sponsorship and other sort of money materials that are supposed to kick in, obviously play a part. But yeah, personally, if money wasn't involved, I think it would be an easy decision. They'd probably cancel it and start again. But there's so much money involved from sponsorship, people's contracts, bonuses, etc., that I don't think it will happen. I think they'll still continue. I don't think it will cancelled. I think it should get cancelled.
Dan, what's your view?
Well, see, look, I think they have contingency plans in place for something like this, with a situation like this with regards to people getting COVID. I think personally, if I was in charge, I think I would probably just done 3 different hubs to play baseball in, like 3 major hubs for cities, and just do it that way. Because realistically, basketball is easy to do a hub because you only got like 15 players on a team. With baseball, it's a bit more. So if you do 3 major city hubs to then do, and you divide the teams and then you play it that way you can still get your games that way. I think, Sam's right. Money is a factor. I think you're trying to rush, like Nick said, you're rushing too many games into one. And I just think as well, when you haven't got a handle on it, it's difficult to then try to go full steam ahead with the whole season. I think you need to implement it and be realistic that you need to put some changes. And and like I said, I think my idea of just putting a 3-city hub, doing it that way, I think that works, is beneficial. That way you can still get it, but you limit the amount of teams in one area, or limit the amount of people in one area, and go from there. And I think this is also a warning sign to NFL in terms of, look at what's happening in baseball. What are your contingency plans if something like this to happen? Can you do travel? Maybe just limit your game to conference games or games within a certain travel zone, to keep it that way. Because at the end of the day, look, I'd rather have 6-8 games of NFL than no season.
Yeah. No, definitely. I definitely think that Roger Goodell is going to be looking on and just being like, okay, you know what? Let me have a look and see what there is to do. Obviously, I'm not sure if it's feasible for the NBA to be able to have a bubble in any form of way. Sorry, NFL to be able to have a bubble in any form of way. But I do think that they need to be looking at. It's lucky that actually their season plans out so late, and so they can actually see the mistakes of others, what's worked and what's not, and actually implement that. Because obviously there's a lot of players now, coming out and saying that they're not going to be playing. More so Patriots, which I suspect are trying to tank. But we'll get into that next time. Chris, what's your view?
Oh man, I think I know everybody's talking about the actual structure of what the Major League is going through, and obviously right now they got stopped with certain teams contacting COVID, like the Miami Marlins, where the team that represents where I reside. No games for the foreseeable future, and because I feel there was no clear leadership plan. This is Paul Manfred versus Adam Silver, and Paul is dying right now in terms of next to start. And Adam, like I was watching the games yesterday, and everyone is complimenting how the bubble is working, all the employees. I know it was a bit of a stretch when they got there. It was something new, but everyone is now seeing how safe it is versus what they're seeing outside. So now they're appreciating that bubble because Major League Baseball did not have a plan. They were like, you guys can do whatever you want. We trust you. They didn't ask their players to strictly quarantine in place, even in the cities. I do agree with Dan that they should have hubs. They should have had hubs, maybe in the cities where they're only domes or whatever the case may be. They can have 3 or 4 cities depending on the landscape. But like Dan said, the NFL is watching because the NFL seems to not really have a plan in place, and they have more players and more responsibilities and so on and so forth. So this is going to be very interesting coming up in the fall, what these other teams would do, because we see what does work. I know the NBA has some different elements in terms of less people, less players, but still the overall idea, I'm sure they can structure for them. But I do feel that the Major League Baseball will ultimately end up canceling their season due to the lack of leadership.
I think it would be a shame for people kind of interested in, obviously big long-term fans of baseball, really been excited to see the season. I think they've been trying different things, like these new graphics that Fox are trying to be able to have like a kind of like a Sims type of crowd in. Obviously we had the cutouts You know, one of them got their head taken off by a home run. Like all of these types of things have been happening. But I think it'll be a shame to be able to cancel the whole thing. I just hope that they can kind of get it together. But, you know, it's not looking good at the moment. But their commissioner said that there's no reason to panic. Let's hope there's not. Let's move on to NFL. Jamal Adams to the Seahawks. He actually got his wish on leaving the New York Jets at long last. Obviously, he was really or doing everything he possibly could do to be able to move to the Cowboys. You know, that didn't work out for him. But the Seahawks seemed like they actually gave up a whole bounty to be able to get him. You know, Dan, do you think it's too much?
So as the resident Seahawks fan, you know, I don't know if I could do this in 2 minutes, so I'll try and do my best. I think, firstly, 2 firsts and a third round and a safety for Jamal Adams is a lot. Like, you need to remember what you're going to get in return. Like, don't get me wrong, Jamal Adams is a beast. He's a good player. He's a great player at 24. He's got a long life ahead of him. But is he a L. Thomas? Is he is he a great safety, a Ronnie Lott? Is he Ed Reed? No, I don't think so. He's not that transformative. And from a cultural point of view, is he going to get us back to sort of that Legion of Boom defense, that sort of that nasty, gritty, championship field defense? I don't even think so. I still think we have holes on the defensive line that we need filling. I know Seattle with Russell Wilson is always going to be in the late 20s, you know, potentially 30s. So, you know, you're not probably going to do great. But the last couple of years, the selections and draft picks we've done hasn't been great. And I think for us, a pressing need has been offense. Like, I think maybe 10 or 11 of our games last season, we won by 1 point, one score. We need offensive power. And when you look at sort of the people that went, Stephon Diggs, he went for just one first. You know, you got D-Hop that went for a second. You know, you're looking at some of these elite wide receivers that have gone off. You know, what we pay for Jamal Adams, I wouldn't agree with. You know, basically they paid for Jamal Adams what the Chicago did for Khalil Mack effectively. And look at how the Raiders turned that first-round pick into success with their running back. So I personally think Seattle have made a mistake. I think culturally he doesn't fit as well. I don't really like when athletes try to push for a move, particularly when he's got 2 years on a contract as well. And if you are going to push, at least do it with a bit more class than just call out your manager like that. And then, you know, he's criticizing Seattle for the plane flight as well. I mean, it's just a lot of things. Like, I just don't think he is right for our team. And I think what we should have gone for is a receiver and then move into D-line. But we'll see.
Sam, get in there. What's your take on it?
Seattle ranked 22nd worst defense, should we say, last year. I think Seattle, for me, are in a rebuild stage now. I think they got to look at. I know you got Russell Wilson. You probably want to take advantage of that. I know you got Metcalf there. Obviously, he's going to probably go on and do some great things. But why not take a young NFL player at this stage? Yes, I agree with you though. It's expensive. Although the Jets are probably like, oh, we've got these picks. What do we pick? What are we going to go for? Because I think we've had discussions before where the Jets don't pick or don't draft very well. So probably be wasted in the long run. I just don't, like you say, it's the attitude thing. You know, the guy was always put himself above everyone at the Jets. I think that will change. I think once he gets in that locker room with some of the personalities at the Seahawks, I think that will whip him into shape. So yeah, I'm not looking forward to it because he's obviously in the division with the Cardinals. So it's not my favourite, but I still think I don't think it's the classiest move. I think it's a bit bumpy for both teams. In all seriousness, but it's a good talent. Can't argue that. And you guys, I think you do need to start making moves now. So you don't fall out of touch with this division because I'm not take the Cardinals out of it. 49ers, obviously going from strength to strength. Obviously, we've gone and done that, and the Rams, I think, will always.
I knew you would. Do the home.
The Rams are obviously going for. Everyone's going for strength to strength. No, I'm saying everyone generally is going. That division is becoming one of the, if not the strongest for me in the game. So they have to play catch up.
Nick, what's your take on this?
Oh, well, so I'm the Jets fan here, so I got the other side of this one. I'm really torn on this one. I love Jamal Adams. I have since day one. I mean, the guy is. I think you guys are getting a hell of a player. The only thing he doesn't do is interceptions. But other than that, I mean, he'll make up with tackles, hit the quarterback. He's a leader. I hate it how he left though. For me, I can't detach from that. I think a lot of players, they shoot their way out of the town and, run down the team, which I kind of understand, but I just don't think he had to. He had 2 years, the Jets had leverage. He had 2 years on his contract. And I just think nowadays, if you bark loud enough, you kind of get what you want. But for what the Jets got, though, it's a hell of a good haul. I mean, 3 picks, 2 first-rounders. But Seattle, I mean, it's going to be bad picks. It's going to be late in the first round. So, and as you said, the Jets do not draft well at all. So I'm devastated he left because one guy we did draft who's awesome, we can't even keep him happy. So I think it goes more about the Jets management as a team. We just can't keep our players. So I'm now deciding to be a silent Seattle fan because I love the guy and I think he's going to help you. And I think it is Legion of Boom back. I really do.
I think it's quite interesting, as Dan mentioned already, the personality clash. Because obviously, if you're joining a new team and you're tweeting about, there's a difference to you complaining personally about actually, you having 8 a.m. or 9 a.m. wake up or 9 a.m. flight or something like that. And then, you actually tweeting about that in public. So, unfortunately, for some reason, I don't know why he keeps on, tweeting out stuff all the time,
Yeah. And he's going back and forth with Le'Veon Bell now as well. So they're already kind of saying, see you week 14 kind of thing. So I don't know. I'm devastated by it, but he's a hell of a good player. And I think Seattle, I think it'll look back next year. I think Seattle won the trade, even though giving up a hell of a lot.
Chris, what do you think?
Man, this is a great situation for Seattle. Obviously, the Jets don't really know what they're doing, so we're used to that for the last couple of years. So I'm gonna just talk about how it is for Seattle. We talk about the personality that Jamal Adams. I understand Dan doesn't like that he's tweeting and he's probably ruffling a couple of feathers. You know who does like that? Pete Carroll. Pete Carroll loves that particular kind of behavior. He loves personalities. He loves that kind of fire that he can bring onto the field. Also, you guys have to deal with George Kittle. You got Joe D-Hop now. You got Arizona's quarterback who can run Kyler Murray run all over the place. You need a stable safety back there that can see everything and an all-pro safety. And also, the Seattle knows how to win, last time I checked. So I think this is a winning player going to a winning organization that doesn't really care about tweets, that doesn't care about small. They win chips and they get to chips. And they don't care about this small stuff. That's what the Jets cared about. That's why they pushed him. They felt he was able to get under their skin. He can't do that in Seattle. I think Seattle now is stronger and helps my pick for Russell Wilson being the MVP.
That's interesting. I'm not seeing first time I see Daniel completely agree. You almost applauded you when you finished.
No, I didn't agree at all because I can't agree. I'm sorry. 2 first rounds for a safety? No. Like, you need defensive linemen. We need defensive linemen. Forget, Clowney's no longer at Seattle. So, and we need to rush the quarterbacks. You've got Garoppolo. You've got Kyler Murray. You've got great quarterbacks in our league. We need to rush them. And like Nick said, he doesn't really get interceptions. So, what are you getting a safety for? He doesn't even get interceptions. Yes, he gets sacks, but we can get linemen for that. We got Bobby Wagner for that. So,
it's about taking away a part of the field. Interceptions or not, if a quarterback can't look deep to the right or deep to the left, you've taken out a corner of the field. Yeah, you may not get interceptions, but if a quarterback knows that he can't go that way because the man's deeply covered or so on and so forth, it helps your backfield. He's going to help them in that division that they're in.
Well, I just lost it on your point about Pete Carroll likes it. He likes it to a certain extent. Don't forget, Sherman was allowed to talk to a certain extent. Then he got shipped over. Earl Thomas got shipped over as well. So Jamal Adams, he might be okay for now, but once your talent, it is. And also, we haven't actually signed him to a deal. So,
well, let's put a pin in this Seahawks talk. And we will see what happens or what trouble he makes when he's tweeting or Instagramming or whatever. but let's hope that he's actually a great addition because, you know, Seahawks is one of my, you know, teams that I root for. Anyone but the Cardinals, definitely for sure. So obviously next we're going to be going on actually the meat and potatoes of what we're going to be talking about, which is obviously the NBA coming back. You know, let's have a look what we are looking forward to seeing on NBA Sundays.
Walker knocks it down. Carmelo from CJ. Got it! Lillard into the lane. Up and in the left hand. Oh, Jason Tatum! Bring that smoke!
Okay, let's get to it. You know, you guys have been waiting around, especially Chris, the biggest NBA fan in this chat. I would say. Actually, no. Well, maybe Nick.
There you go.
Nick's there. Despite him being a Knicks fan, he's definitely a big basketball fan. So let's start looking at these games. So you know, we'll start off by you guys predicting who's going to win out of. You know, we'll start off with the Lakers and Clippers, and just say why in the short space of time that we normally give you. Let's do it. So let's start off with Dan. Let's go.
So I'll say the Lakers. I just think their team is a bit more dedicated. They seem a bit more on it. LeBron's definitely on it. And the Clippers have been a slow starting team anyways when the season started. I think they're going to take a while to get their rhythm back. They don't have all their players. So I think, you know, that's going to be a factor. You know, do I like JR coming into the Lakers? Probably not. But I think overall, I think the Lakers will win. I think they're just fitter, stronger, and sharper at this moment.
Oh, that's quite decisive. Sam, what you got?
Yeah, I'm going for the Lakers. I think we've just discussed the Clippers with Lou Williams as well. You do not want the distractions at this time. I think they'll be quite comfortable from the Lakers as well.
And Chris, what say you, sir?
I'm gonna go opposite. I'm gonna go with the Clippers. I think they know that to get over the hump to start, they have to beat the Lakers to get this restart started well for them mentally, especially with the Lou Williams thing to get over that hump. I think Kawhi and PG-13 are gonna come out strong, and their defense will be, and they actually are deeper than the Lakers. The Lakers do look more polished at the moment, but I think when they tip off, Kawhi and those boys will be ready for LeBron and them. So I'm gonna take the Clippers in game one.
Okay, cool. Nick, what say you?
Well, for this one game, I'll go for the Lakers as well. I think just piggybacking on what they said, I mean, the Lakers are more focused right now. That's the way I feel. They just see they're on a mission. Where the Clippers are here, there, and everywhere. They got injuries. They got, you know, Lou Williams, Montrezl Harrell, all this stuff. And I don't think people are talking enough about this rest LeBron's getting right now. I think that's going to be huge dividends. But yeah, for game one, I think Lakers comfortable.
It's interesting. So Lakers, we've got 3-1 for the Lakers. So let's move on to the Bucks versus my Celtics. You know, we'll start off with Nick. What's your view on that?
For this one, I'm going to go Bucks. Pretty much almost the same reason. I think they're a group that's focused. They're number one in the East. They have a clear goal in sight, and it is game one. So I mean, I think it's going to be ugly basketball all around for the first game. But for this one, I'll go with the Bucks just because of Giannis. I don't see anyone really stopping him. But I do like the
Clearly, Nick will never come back on the show again. Sam, what you got?
I'm going with the Bucks as well. I think they'll just overpower the Celtics. And to be honest, let's be honest, you got all that Celtics gear on. There was no way I was going to choose Celtics.
This
never happened. And no, Giannis he's a beast, and I think he's another one. But Nick, emulating what you said about LeBron, just giving these big guys rest. It's going to come. I think it's going to overpower a lot of these games, and they're going to have something to prove. I think it's a great opportunity for all teams to actually potentially get a championship out of this as well. So, yeah, I think they'll start fast, and the Celtics will be brushed aside. Chris, what you got?
I'm hearing all this rest talk, man. Like, no, athleticism wins, man. That's all. That's what wins, especially now. Rest. When that dude flies by you, you can have all the rest you want. But this. The Celtics, I feel, with this one game will probably come out on top because the depth they have. The Bucks have a bit of a problem with them in the regular season, and they're long, and they give the Bucks a bit of a problem. I think it will be close, but I do think the Celtics are a bit deeper than the Bucks, at least for game one. In a 7-game series, it might be a little different, but for this one game, I'm gonna take the C's.
I'll take all the support that we can get. You're gonna make it 2-2, Dan?
Unfortunately not. No, I think you know, if it was in the regular season, then potentially they might have a shot. But I think personally, you know, coming in, restart, I think the Bucks just will start off stronger. I think they will be the team to start off strongest out of all the teams in the NBA, personally. So I think for me, you know, and Giannis is just a beast. He's the MVP of the league at the moment right now. So I think he should be MVP elect, I should say. So for me, I think that, you know, they've got Giannis, the best player in the East. I think they will win. I think they'll win by on the edge. But I think they'll win.
Interesting. You know, I completely disagree with all of you, but we'll keep it moving. Right, so let's move on to the Raptors versus Lakers. You know, start off with Sam. Who have you got for that?
Why are you even coming to me? I'm going to say anything more than the Raptors. And just a reminder that everyone, we are still champions, by the way. I just thought I'd like to front that one out as well. But yeah, now do you know what? I will obviously go with the Raptors, but I actually don't think we'll be that successful on the restart. In general, I don't have any optimism past the fact that I'm a fan. At this point, listen, I think we're a good side. I think obviously we lost Kawhi, but yeah, this season is still obviously ticking along and doing all right. But I think the Lakers will, as we've established, got a mission that they're on, and I think they're going to go on a quick start. But yes, Raptors win if we're going to go predictions.
Dan, who have you got?
Again, if you're going Raptors versus Lakers, I'm going to have to go with the Lakers. It's a tricky one. I think it's going to be a close match. You know, I think it'll be like a 3-point difference between the game, but I'll have to go with the Lakers. I just think AD and LeBron are one of the best duos in NBA at the moment right now, and they complement each other really well. If it's this, sorry, Lakers.
Chris, who you got?
Yeah, I'm gonna roll with the king on this one. I think the Lakers go ahead and take out the Raptors. The duo is crazy strong. I don't think the Raptors can hold up. Big shout out to Paul Siakam, and Lowry, and the defense that they do have. I do think they'll give the Lakers a run for their money, but I think the Lakers take this one.
Nick.
Yeah, I'm gonna agree. I'm not a Lakers fan. You know, I don't like the Lakers all the way, but on a one-off.
This is two now. There's suspicious behavior going on here.
Like it, but on a one-off, I mean, you just can't. You know, AD and LeBron, they'll take anyone. But the Raptors, I think they're going to be a tough out come playoff time. But for this one game, I'll go with the Lakers.
So the next one is a nice battle. I think it's going to be who controls the East now with this particular game. Heat versus Celtics. So, Chris, I'm not going to go to you first because I know who you're going to pick. so, Sam, who have you got with the Heat and the Celtics? The big one.
Yeah. So this little fish battle that's going to take place, I'll go with the Celtics on this one, and that hurts. I think a little bit of me just died actually saying that. Yeah. Sorry, Chris. I really did want to do it, but I need to get one prediction right, and I think it will be this one. So I think I'm going to go with the Celtics this week.
Dan, who you got?
Look, I think the Heat with Jimmy Butler, Jimmy Butler's been a great signing for the Heat this season. I think he's done really well. He's played really well. I just think defensively, the Celtics are better. They match up better defensively to the Heat, and I think overall, you know, I like I like Jason Tatum, and I think he's going to do really well. And I think just overall, I think, yeah, I have the Celtics in this one. I think, you know, they are probably, I know the table doesn't speak for it, but I think they're the second best team in the East, and I think that's going to show in that game.
Nick, who you got?
I've agreed with Sam the whole time, the whole show. I hate doing that, but yeah, no, I think the Celtics as well. I like the Heat. Again, I think they're kind of going to be a good playoff team. And I'm looking forward to that. You know, we didn't get to see much with Iguodala before the whole shutdown happened. So I'm looking forward to the Heat a lot. They intrigue me. But on this one, I'm going to go with the Boston.
Oh, see, so you got Chris, you're gonna have to rep your city because you know it looks like the Celtics are coming to smack. Let's go.
I gotta rep my side, my city, man. I feel that the Miami Heat are gonna obviously come out victorious on this one. I do feel that we might start off the restart a little slow. We just got Bam back, and we just got Nunn back off of their COVID cases. And so I saw the game the other night, and we didn't look too together. Our defense didn't catch a rhythm because, like, we're trying to implement our all-star. But by the time we get to the Celtics and by the time we get to the Celtics, I think Bam will be ready. We'll be informed. The bench is deep. We can shoot from three. We have an all-star that can possibly shut down Jason Tatum. I'm gonna roll with the Heat and their resurgence to get back to the top of the East. And their fight. I believe in Eric Spoelstra and the team that we put together. Iguodala coming off the bench. There's so much versatile defensive plays that we can do. I'm going to look forward to the Heat being strong in this one.
So, so it's a complete homer pick with no form of.
I thought I just broke it down as best as I could.
You disguised it with a lot of analysis.
Hopefully.
The last one we're looking forward to is the Heat versus Raptors. Let's see who can give us an unbiased opinion. Obviously, I was going to go to Chris first of all, but I see that he's pretty much. I think he's got his. So let's start off with Sam. Who you got?
Oh, bias. He's wearing a Raptors jersey.
I thought you want unbiased. Raptors. I'm not going to say more than that.
God, I'm
Raptors. Can I take up 2 minutes and say Raptors? Yeah, don't need to come to me. Raptors all day, and that will be easy pickings. It'll be like Jurassic Park.
Yeah. Dan, who you got?
I'm gonna base the prediction based on sort of on the season, the regular season, and the Heat